It is Thursday, October the 15th. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. We are happy to have you with us. We've got your HCC news and information for the next half hour or so. Can you believe we're halfway through the month of October? I got to say, October's been flying by. The last previous 6 months may have gone by pretty slow, but October is flying by. Brittany Pacheco has the day off. We've got a special appearance from Frank Cooper joining us right now. Frank, let me unmute your mic there. There we go. Can you hear me, Frank?
I can hear you loud and clear. What's going on, Todd? It's great to be here. I'm not Brittany. I'm trying my best to try to, fit her shoes, her large 5.5 shoes.
Well, it's great to have you with us, Frank. And of course, later on in the show, we're going to have the HCC news and information. We may discuss a little bit of sports, Frank, because I love it when you're on the show because I get a chance to talk sports. When I talk sports with Brittany, unless it's Astros, she doesn't really have much to say otherwise. So that doesn't quite work out. We want to remind people to follow us in social media, though, Frank.
Absolutely. Let's grow the show, guys. Let's follow us on YouTube. Hit the notification bell for the latest shows and updates. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat for all the latest news and updates regarding HCC and everything around the campuses.
All right, so we are going to right now get to our news of the day. Our two guests, we've got Emily Fens, and Emily is with the Lawndale Art Center. Emily, it's a virtual family fun Thursday. We appreciate you joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Now we're going to talk more about the offerings from the Lawndale Art Center coming up later on the show. We're going to ask you to stand by for just a little while. And first, we're going to start with, of course, you may recognize this lady, Janet May, our Chief Human Resources Officer. Janet, good morning to you. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Todd. It's so great to see you. And Frank, it's great to see you also. And Nathan, big shout out. And Emily, great to meet you.
Janet, you always have a busy day, always, but today is a special busy day for you because you got your coffee break coming up later on. Yes. And you guys also have something very important I want to talk about, but it's a women in leadership panel discussion you're going to have later. Let's talk about both events. The virtual coffee break, not that long from now.
No, it's not. It's at 11 a.m. We've been doing this every Tuesday and Thursday. And this Thursday, today, we're actually going to be talking with our Veterans and Military Affairs group to learn all about what they are doing in this virtual world with our veteran students and also our veteran applicants. So it's a really great show. It's very casual, kind of like this, informal. We celebrate over a cup of coffee. I will have to say that the whole show, my theme has changed a little bit because the month of October is my favorite month of the year. So we do have a little bit of pumpkins and harvest and Halloween going on.
And you also have questions that people can answer, and you can get questions answered if the faculty and staff are watching and they may have a question for one of your guests.
Absolutely. We do a question and answer. So it's, like I said, it's very informal as we go through. So they can ask any question they want to, whether it's to our guest or to myself or my co-host as we go through. And so we really do that. So it's a really, to me, it's kind of like one of those parts of your day where you can take a breath. You can kind of sit down, you can have a conversation and engage as we go through.
And Janet, you have a panel discussion coming up as well concerning women in leadership, and that's happening today as well.
Actually, that panel discussion is next week on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I have another panel discussion I'm doing today with COPA. So it is a very full day. So next Wednesday, our Women in Leadership program, which I'm part of, is going to be doing a panel discussion, which will be celebrating the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment for the women's right to vote. So we're going to kind of talk about that history, about what it meant, when the 19th Amendment was signed. Some things such as probably many people don't know that when the 19th Amendment was signed, while it gave women the right to vote, it didn't give all women the right to vote.
Right.
So we thought it was really a great panel discussion, especially in the month of October. We are coming up for voting and everything. So our panel is going to include Dr. Samuel Hogsett, who's our instructor in history, Ruth Dunn, who is in sociology, Christine Monpoint, who is our United Student Council president, and Du Pham, who's our United Student Council treasurer. And then we have a great moderator. And if you guys know Helen Graham, Dr. Helen Graham, she's a phenomenal moderator.
She sure
and
is.
She's our division chair with philosophy, humanities, and library sciences, and actually a member of the Women in Leadership group.
That sounds like a great discussion. Yeah, I know Helen Graham very well. We've had her on our show several times, and,
Yes.
she's going to be a wonderful moderator for you. You know, before the show was starting, we were talking about something, and you can't miss it right now because voting is coming up. I believe November the 3rd. That's the big day. But
Yeah.
early voting is going on, you know, and I come from the world of news. I'm somewhat of a news junkie, and I have to unplug a lot, especially right now, from news. Otherwise, you can get caught up in it. It could affect your overall mental and emotional state. And that's something we really have to watch because that's a real thing going on now. I guess you would say voter exhaustion.
Definitely. I call it election fatigue or
Yeah.
political ad fatigue. So, you know, it's so important that everybody take care of themselves because it can affect you and you might not even realize it. There's a lot of things going on right now. So our EAP provider, ComSite, provides a lot of wonderful services. So make sure you visit our page with that. And we actually have a link to them on the COVID-19 essential resources for faculty and staff site on my HCC. But I would also say, if you can, turn the TV off, turn off social media for a little while. And it really does help as we go through because we know that things are only going to increase as we get closer to November 3rd. We are in early voting. I do have to say shout out to everyone who's been early voting because we've been breaking records here in Harris County and also Fort Bend and all of Texas on our early voting. So really appreciate that.
Yeah, and early voting's a big thing now. I've done it for the past several years, and I had a chance to vote the first day it opened, I believe, on Tuesday,
Yes.
and went in the early evening. And the good thing about early voting is it takes the stress out of it. You don't have to worry about it. My vote's done. I don't have to worry about this. I can turn the ads off and really unplug. And you don't have to worry about standing in lines because during early voting, you can go anywhere you'd like within the county that you're registered, at least in Harris County here. And that's a big plus for people.
It is a huge plus. And in fact, we went the first day also. We were there in line at 6:30 a.m. My husband and I were to get our vote cast. So we had it out of the way. We're the same way. We're like, get it done early, get out, you know, things of that nature. And then we can turn out the political ads and things of that nature off and kind of, you know, de-stress. But what I will remind everybody is if you go to harrisvotes.org, I believe it is, they will tell you the wait times at all the different polls.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely correct. Right now, the best part about early voting is you can go anywhere. You don't have to go where you're assigned to vote on November the 3rd. So that is a really great thing. And I do want to say, we're not promoting, you know, any political agenda. We're just making sure people have the information as they go through.
Absolutely. And it's very important. Just have the information, be aware. And a number of our HCC locations have polling places on them, including, I saw this on the news the other day, there's a drive-in voting location at our Southwest campus.
Absolutely.
The West Loop.
Yeah, it's great. You drive in, and I actually saw that in action at early voting, not at one of our locations, but the others, and it runs really smoothly. You stand in line with your car, you drive up, they come to you, they give you basically what looks like an iPad, okay? Do your vote, cast your ballot, and away you go.
You know, Janet, you touched on a subject earlier about EAP, and I want to just briefly touch on that again because we're still in the pandemic right now. Many of us are still working remotely. Some of us have returned to the campuses in limited fashion. Some of our students are coming back, but it can cause more stress than you normally deal with. And we have resources available, I know, through our My HCC and our EAP as well.
Yes, definitely. And, you know, I also have to give a shout out to all the parents because we have a lot of parents out there that are doing homeschooling with their children. So that even added more stress to everything. So you've got those that are in the virtual world. You've got some that have been coming back. And I'll be the first to tell you, I've been very careful about where I go. And I've noticed that if it gets too crowded, I'm kind of like pausing where I probably wouldn't have before and thinking, I need to take a step back. So definitely reach out to our EAP services. They actually have a great thing for virtual schooling for how to help balance that as we go through. I will encourage everybody, reach out to a friend, to a coworker, to a family. Don't go a day without talking to someone. That makes it so much better to stay connected and things of that nature. And sometimes people have a tendency where they don't want to turn their cameras on or they don't really want to talk. but really taking that extra step and that effort, I think you will find will really help as you go through in keeping everybody engaged.
Yeah, that really has helped, I know, from an HCCTV standpoint, because early on we started having face-to-face meetings every morning at 11 a.m. with the whole team, just to see where everyone is, hear about the projects going on, but most importantly, to see each other, because we may not be able to meet in person, but we can see each other virtually and kind of read what's going on with each other.
Definitely. And the other thing that I will say about being in the whole pandemic and the virtual world is a couple of times people said, well, I kind of don't want you to see what my house looks like right now. Guess what, guys? I have a virtual background on right now.
Yeah.
I wish this is what my house looked like. So the virtual backgrounds have been great. So you don't have to worry about that, because some people do, they're really still trying to separate work and home, and it's been really hard. So guys, guess what? Use your virtual backgrounds. Put your favorite sports team up there. Put an HCC logo. If you're like me, make it look like Martha Stewart decorated your home in the background. All of those things as we go through, and those are still ways that you can stay connected.
Janet May, we always appreciate having you on the show, and make sure you check out Janet's show at 11 a.m. with her virtual coffee break. I'm looking forward to seeing you later on this month on there.
I know you and Brittany are going to be on the show. I'm so excited. We always have so much fun, and maybe we'll talk a little Game of Thrones and things of that nature as we're going through.
Yeah, Brittany will love that. She's already on board. Janet, thanks for joining us. I know you're busy today, and have a great day and stay safe.
You too. Bye-bye. See
you later. So we are going to move on to Emily Fens right now. And Emily, I'm going to unmute your mic and ask you, you are from the Lawndale Art Center. Now, I've been out down to Lawndale several years ago for an art exhibition that was there. And from what I remember, Lawndale is very popular for not only just static art, but performance art as well.
Exactly. Our full title is Lawndale Art and Performance Center. We go by Lawndale for short. So we certainly have it all. We support contemporary artists, local and regional, through not only our exhibitions, but also our public programming, which tends to have some performances. For instance, right now on view, we have Alana Mann's Sounds from the Swamp in our sculpture garden. And there, that exhibition is accompanied by a series of performances where her sculptures themselves, which are part hand, part horn, will be activated by local musicians. So we're really excited for that. Excited to be multidisciplinary as well for the arts.
And you guys are located on the edge of Midtown. For folks who are wondering, I believe, isn't it by 59, underneath 59 as you head out to the main?
Yes, very close in there. Exactly.
Yeah.
We're about a 10-minute walk north of the Museum of Fine Arts Houston, so the big one. And also right by Houston Center for Contemporary Crafts. So make a day of it, a little museum day of it, to enjoy contemporary art.
I want to talk about what things have been like for you guys over the last 6 months. Of course, life changed for us all back in March when most of us and just about everything was having to shut down. How did that affect the Art Center? And how were you able to pivot your operations to offer things online and find out an alternate plan, really?
Yeah, great question. So of course, March, about mid-March, we all transferred to working from home, as the whole world did, essentially. And then back in May, we gradually started to come back into office. And during this time, at least early on in the pandemic era, we were not able to, have people into our galleries due to safety reasons. So we initiated a postcard campaign, which anyone can join. We just send art to your mailbox. So, if you're not able to go out in public for any reason, we'll bring the art to you with the artists that we work with. But nowadays, gradually, as we've kind of learned more about navigating the virus and parameters and how to do so safely, we have been able to open our galleries by appointment. We just opened our fall round this past Saturday, and those will be on view until January 16th. So just visit our website, lawndaleartcenter.org, book your appointment, come see us. We have hand sanitizer, masks, all the things that are a safe experience to enjoy art.
And I imagine by appointment only, you get it would seem to me like you get more of an experience with the curator or the person on hand. Do you have to show the art and explain it to the customers or the patrons that are there?
Exactly. So with appointment, like you're mentioning, a great pro of that is more intimacy with our visitors to greet them at the doors, let them in, let them know what is in what space. As you walk into the building itself, you'll see the preview of our Lawndale Lending Library, which features the work of different local and contemporary artists. If you're a member with Lawndale, you can borrow and purchase these works throughout the course of the year, culminating in a silent auction. So it's great to promote things like that, as well as answer any questions about Lawndale and our exhibitions through this kind of more intimate appointment schedule.
And tell me more about this lending library. How exactly does that work? Do people get to borrow arts or books, or how does that work?
Exactly. They get to borrow. We currently have it just for visual art, though we certainly are, as we grow it. It's pretty new from late 2018. We would like to grow it multidisciplinary as well. But currently, we have about 40 artworks by about 30 different regional and local artists that are in our community that we've supported through our exhibitions, the Big Show, community in general, or our artist studio program residency. Yeah. So people can come in. If they're a member, they can leave with a piece of art, perhaps spruce up your Zoom background or just enjoy it through select periods throughout the year. And then if you liked it so much, you can buy it. Yeah. We also have a silent auction for the works annually. The upcoming silent auction will be on December 13th at Lawndale. We're currently working on it. We're really excited. It'll be a nice little brunch fundraiser. Yeah.
You mentioned the Big Show, and you guys are known for the Big Show. I think that might have been what I attended years ago. But for folks who aren't familiar with the Big Show, maybe you can tell us about that.
Of course. So the Big Show, we will have the next one coming up in summer 2021. Every year we'll work with a different curator, bring one in to work with different artists that are able to submit. We open this up to anybody to submit who lives within a 100-mile radius of Lawndale. So it's a great show that really reflects the vibrant arts community in Houston. Artists of all levels of their career are welcome to submit and are ultimately reflected in the Big Show itself. So certainly something on the horizon that we're working towards, really excited to bring back. I think it'll be great, summer 2021. Hopefully, by then, things will be all the more activated in the public sphere.
We're certainly hoping so. Emily, I'm going to ask you another question, because around the nation, you hear it every day where historical either art places that exhibit art or performance centers are closing down almost now on a daily basis because they can't make it past this pandemic. You've got musicians who are unemployed, underemployed, maybe trying to put their music out online, artists who are selling things online and trying to get performances out there online.
Yeah.
Do you think we're at a point now where, are we going to be able to save the arts? Because things are really desperate for a lot of people out there right now who depend on in-person exhibits and performances.
Yeah, that's such a great question. I think with that, what comes to mind is, at least the people that I talked to many people during the quarantine and, early months of the pandemic. A lot of people relied on the arts to get through it, whether it be listening to music or reading books or movies or, visual art on the wall. Really brought them through it. So I think now more than ever, the arts are super important, as we really saw this year. Funding for the arts is always, an interesting thing. We are a nonprofit organization, so we're always fundraising and whatnot. But the importance, I feel like, is super highlighted in this moment, definitely.
Well, you hope it continues that way, because we need the arts, and it's sad when I know, when a lot of, the Bayou City Arts Festival, they've had to pivot and go online with their operations this year, just out of an abundance of caution. And you're hearing that more and more. So Emily, we wish the best for Lawndale Art Center, and we hope to see you guys in person again, where we can get there. I know you're doing tours now by appointment only, but we hope to see more of that in the future.
Yeah, we would love to see you all there. Like I said, our website, lawndaleartcenter.org. You can book an appointment, come see us. Love to have you.
And become a member, most importantly, right?
Exactly. Become a member, join our lending library, enjoy all the artwork of local and contemporary.
I like that. I love that lending library. That's a great deal. You can become a member and you can be changing art in your house all the time through the lending library. That's awesome.
Totally. We're all home so much right now. You might as well. We got our Zoom backgrounds. Might as well spruce it up.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Emily Fens, we appreciate you joining us this morning. For anyone interested in Lawndale Art Center, we'll have the links in the social media post for this show. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, we're going to move on to Frank Cooper. Of course, Frank is here filling in for Brittany, but Frank's always here. He's got regular appearances on the show. We love having him on the show. Frank, we want to bring everybody up to speed with HCC news and information. Let's start with the Project Homeworld virtual talks, which are coming up.
Absolutely. So we're celebrating 75 years of the UN. So learn more about how you can support global goals and for a sustainable future. The UN anniversary, 2 p.m. Tuesday, October 20th. Honorable Tita V. Banks. She's a USA National Council Chair of the UN Association. So for more information about that, go to hccs.edu/homeworld.
So Frank, I know you love sports, and HCC's recsports, even though we're all virtual right now, they're very busy. They've got a lot going on. And one thing I think we talked to Brittany, and we think that you should get involved with this, is this twerk fitness class with the V sisters.
I'll do the twerk fitness if you do it, though. I need a partner, man. I need a twerk partner, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just don't think I could. I'm sorry. I think I'm going to be busy today because it's happening today, Frank. I think between 6 and 6:40 p.m. But best part about it,
Friday.
It's free. Oh, it's Friday. Okay, Friday with the twerk. Nothing better than starting your weekend with some twerk out, right?
I'm gonna pay you $1 every time you say twerk. I never heard you say twerk before. This is awesome.
It's twerk fitness with the V sisters, 6 to 6:40 p.m. tomorrow, free. We'll have the information on how you can join them for that. And also, there's something going on, Rec Talk, which is happening, Frank, and it's about diversity in sports. That's going to be at noon on Tuesday.
Absolutely, it's a virtual discussion on the current state of sports industry, including mental health in sports, COVID-19, athletes using their platform to protest, and Special Olympics. Giveaways are available. So for more information about that, sports at hccs.edu or hccs.edu/recsports.
As you heard earlier, Janet May, she's got her virtual coffee breaks. One of them is coming up at 11 a.m. today. Capri Thomas, Director of Veterans Affairs, will be joining her, along with Luis Polanco de Leon, Coordinator of Veterans Affairs. They will both be joining them, talking about all the things available to veterans right now and the need for veteran outreach. They'll be talking about that on the show. If you have questions, you can join them and post your questions. For more information, search your HCC emails for the link for the show. Financial aid, Frank, they're taking in-person appointments, but I should say in-person meetings, but only by appointment.
Absolutely. So now's that time. People are coming back on campus. Financial aid is accepting in-person appointments. No walk-ins, though. No walk-ins. We will post a link to book appointments on our social media right after the show.
It's an important time for Houston Community College, for our faculty and staff, because we all have a chance to sign up right now. In fact, you can do it today through November 6th for the All In for HCC. That is our internal campaign where we donate from our paychecks for our students, for scholarships, help them pay for school during these times of need. A lot of students want to continue their college career, but they need a little bit of financial assistance. We can help. You can sign up all throughout the month through November 6th, going to hccs.edu/allinforhcc. And when you do it, hashtag it, send it out in social media, hashtag allinforhcc. A lot of our students, Frank, are needing some Wi-Fi coverage, and we've got them covered on our campuses free.
Absolutely. Some students are not allowed into HCC campus buildings, but not all. So parking lot Wi-Fi zones are available to connect the students to the internet. Will not have access in restrooms in the building. Will not have access to outlets to charge devices. So some more information about that, go to hccs.edu/outdoor Wi-Fi.
So before we get to tomorrow's guests on the show, because we've got a packed show to wrap up tomorrow's week, and I think you're going to be here too tomorrow, aren't you?
I will be, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
Brittany will be back. Frank will be here too for his normal Friday appearance. But I want to talk some sports because, hey, it's a new day for the Astros. You never know what can happen when the Astros are on the field. They could hit 20 balls, get it 20 runs, or the bats can go cold and they can lose the game 1-0, as happened not just recently. But they pulled it out yesterday, Frank.
Yeah, we got to find a way to solve this bat issue, man. The offense is just sluggish. Yesterday we got some timely home runs from George Springer and Altuve. Hopefully we can keep it going. The pitching's been there. Been there. Not the bullpen, but the starting pitch has been there. So hopefully we can keep it up going to game 5.
Going into game 5, but they have 3 more in a row they have to win. You can't say it can't be done because they're the Astros. They can do it all, but it's going to be a tough mountain to climb.
Absolutely. But, if anybody can do it, it is the Astros. Like they've come back from down 6-7 runs before. We just hopefully the offense can wake up in the time they need and hopefully, get the ball going. Just, take it one game at a time.
Dale, that's the exact point. You go one game at a time, just live through tomorrow. That's all they need. But, the sad part about it, one way or another, when this season ends for the Astros, whether it's further in the playoffs or in the next couple of days, we're going to see a different team next year because it looks like we're going to lose some of the main pieces.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens when you're successful over a 4 or 5 year span. What happens is that players' values increase, and it's hard to sign everybody back. I know George Springer is going to be a free agent pretty soon. Justin Verlander, who ended his year on Tommy John surgery, he's going to come off the books. So they got some huge financial decisions to make, in developing that roster and bringing guys up for the minors and seeing what guys can step up for the 2021 season.
They've done it in the past before, though. They really did. If you look back to the Astros, the last time they went to the series when they didn't win, you had Roger Clemens on the team, Andy Pettit, Roy Oswalt, a number of stars, and they all went away and we had to rebuild. It took us several years, but they've been able to do that, and they did it right through their farm system. You hope they don't have to do that, but they could turn things around, get some new players in. Who knows what'll happen in 2021.
Yeah, and then I know Alvarez is hurt. I know he has knee surgery in August. He'll be back. He was a great DH for us, and hopefully that offense is much needed come next season. So hopefully he bounces back and he's fully healthy.
You hope so. Moving on to football, of course, we discussed this the other day. Texans racked up a win, but, I've seen some videos since we talked last time of Romeo Crennel, and he was in the locker room dancing with the players. And that just shows, to me, that was great to see because it shows him getting loose again and having fun and enjoying the game. It seemed like for the last few years with the coach they had, who shall remain nameless at this point because he's gone, but under his system, there wasn't much, dancing or having fun. It seemed to be serious business, but not successful business.
Yeah, it's one thing to adopt the do your job Bill Belichick way, but if you're not winning games, especially at the pro level, athletes are not going to take heed to that. And after the loss 2 weeks ago, JJ Watt was like, change needs to happen. We need change. And I think he was talking about the coach that we should, keep nameless. So, it's good to see those guys having fun again. The offense looked good last week. I know it was Jacksonville, but, at this point, I'll take anything right now for to jumpstart this offense and get it going for the season.
Well, if you ever wondered who was really in charge at the Texans head office, it wasn't the former coach, because who was it that said change had to happen? And next thing you know, the coach is gone. So that's the guy, I guess, in charge overall. He has a lot more stock than I think we thought he had up to a couple of weeks ago.
Well, that's the thing. Like, and this transcends all sports. When you have veterans who don't get along with the head coach, or veterans who are disgruntled, that permeates throughout the roster. And I think JJ, it was time. I mean, I thought it was 4 years too long, but hopefully they can get it going. They started 0-3 a couple years ago. It's a steep climb, but Deshaun Watson showed he can go on these 5-6 game winning streaks and get hot and have this MVP type season. So Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, he's in that upper echelon, great quarterback. So I still got faith.
When he's in the game, it could go any way. You're never out of the game when he's behind center. Absolutely. That guy's an incredible quarterback. Frank, that about wraps up the show for today. So tomorrow on the show, we've got Ruben Duran, and he's going to be talking about the XR Lab and Studio at the Center for Learning Innovation, the Central Region. That's happening. That'll be an interesting discussion. And it's Friday, which means we've got another special guest.
Dr. Jimmy Adams, man, the man and myth, the legend himself, the great poet. I love his poetry, man. He's so creative. The way his creative process, how he does his poems is outstanding.
We need to team him up with a songwriter, a popular musician, because that's where it's going to go. I could see his lyrics becoming songs perfectly. You know,
Absolutely.
it's some incredible stuff. Yeah, Dr. Jimmy Adams will be here tomorrow. He's also the chief operation officer or the college operations officer at HCC Northeast College. We'll talk to him about that. We'll have discussion on Friday. Frank will be back. Brittany will be back. Thanks for being here, Frank. And thank you for being here on Up to the Minute. We'll see you tomorrow live, 10 a.m.